10 ailments cured? The untold truth about cloves, a doctor's perspective. Part 1. Introduction. Why did my grandmother always chew cloves? I still remember that chilly winter morning in the countryside, sitting on the wooden porch with my grandmother. She held a steaming cup of tea in one hand, and in the other, a single clove she would occasionally chew between her teeth. I once asked her, "Why cloves?" She smiled and said, "Because sometimes, what heals us best is what grows quietly in nature." That moment stayed with me. Decades later, after becoming a physician and dedicating over 30 years of my life to medical research, I finally understand what she meant. Cloves, these small, dried flower buds from the Syzygium aromaticum tree, aren't just a kitchen spice. They are nature's own pharmacy, tucked into a tiny brown bud. In today's video, I'm not just going to repeat what you may have heard online. I'm going to take you through the real science, the clinical implications, and even the risks, because in medicine, nothing is ever one-sided. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you the truth that's been sitting in your spice cabinet all along. Part 1. The powerful effects on digestion. Healing starts in the gut, and sometimes, with a spice no bigger than a nail. Introduction. A forgotten wisdom. I still remember a quiet afternoon many years ago, visiting a small village in southern India. I was there on a medical outreach program, offering checkups and basic care to elderly villagers who had little access to clinics. One elderly man, perhaps 90 years old, with a steady voice and sparkling eyes, walked up to me after I had finished examining him. He had no complaints, no bloating, no indigestion, no gas, no acid reflux. His secret? Every night, before bed, he would chew on a single clove. I laughed at first, politely, of course. But he just smiled and said, "Doctor, you treat sickness, I prevent it." That sentence never left me. Decades later, science has finally caught up with that simple folk wisdom. And what we now know about cloves and digestion, it's nothing short of remarkable. Cloves' role in stimulating digestive enzymes. Let's begin with what happens the moment you place a clove in your mouth. Chewing cloves, or even brewing them in hot water, triggers your body to release digestive enzymes. These are the essential workers in your gut. They help break down food into nutrients, making it easier for your body to absorb the vitamins, minerals, and energy it needs. This is especially important for seniors. As we age, our stomachs naturally produce less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes, making it harder to digest heavy meals. That's why many older adults feel sluggish, bloated, or uncomfortable after eating, especially foods rich in protein or fat. Clove oil, rich in a compound called eugenol, signals your salivary glands, your pancreas, and your stomach to wake up and get to work. It's like giving your digestion a gentle nudge, a morning stretch for your gut. Real-world story. The holiday dinner dilemma. I once had a patient named John, 72 years old, who came to me after every Thanksgiving with the same complaint: "Doc, I love the meal, but I hate what comes after it." His stomach would bloat up, his pants wouldn't fit, and he'd spend hours feeling miserable. That year, I gave him a small packet of cloves and told him, "Chew one about 15 minutes after the meal. Just try it." He called me 3 days later. That tiny thing actually worked. Of course, it didn't replace moderation, but it helped his body recover from a heavy meal. No pills, no side effects, just a spice that's been in use since ancient times. Relieving gas, bloating, and indigestion naturally. Let's talk about something many people are embarrassed to discuss: gas and bloating. Believe me, you're not alone. Gas and bloating affect millions of seniors every day. But instead of reaching for antacids or gas relief pills, many are now turning to natural alternatives, and cloves are right at the top of that list. Why? Because cloves help relax the smooth muscles of your digestive tract, reducing spasms that lead to trapped gas and painful bloating. They also help reduce fermentation in the gut, which is often the root cause of excessive gas production. What the science says. Modern studies have found that clove extracts reduce symptoms of dyspepsia, a fancy word for indigestion, in both healthy adults and those with chronic digestive disorders. In animal studies, clove oil has shown to reduce gastric ulcers, balance stomach acid, and even support the gut lining's healing process. And unlike some over-the-counter medications, Cloves don't interfere with nutrient absorption or damage gut bacteria. In fact, they may actually support a healthier microbiome, the friendly bacteria in your intestines that help regulate everything from mood to immunity. Personal case. Linda's midnight heartburn. Linda, 68, came to me complaining of nighttime heartburn. She didn't want to take long-term medications, fearing side effects. We tried food journaling, eliminating spicy and acidic foods, and she improved, but not completely. One night, after dinner, she sipped a clove tea, just 2 cloves in a mug of warm water. To her surprise, her burning sensation was gone in minutes. After 2 weeks of this ritual, she said she was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. Was it magic? No, but cloves' natural alkalizing and anti-inflammatory action brought her relief, without altering her medications. 3. Supporting nausea, vomiting, and stomach upset. Nausea is another issue that increases with age, especially with certain medications, motion sensitivity, or digestive disorders like GERD. While ginger is well known for settling the stomach, cloves offer a similar effect, often with gentler stimulation for sensitive systems. Cloves' essential oils calm the vagus nerve, a major controller of stomach function and gut-brain signaling. It can help reduce nausea, especially if caused by indigestion, travel sickness, or anxiety. Clove tea is also used in many cultures to treat morning sickness, post-meal discomfort, and even hangovers. Practical use for seniors. For nausea, chew half a clove, or brew in warm water with a bit of honey and lemon. For upset stomach, mix a pinch of ground clove with fennel and sip slowly. For vomiting, crush 1 clove, add to warm water, and take small sips over 10 to 15 minutes. It's gentle, warming, and, most importantly, effective. IV, digestive health, the immune system, and long-term wellness. Now, here's a powerful connection I want every senior to understand. Your digestion and your immune system are deeply connected. Nearly 70% of your immune cells live in your gut. If your digestion is weak, you're not just losing nutrients, you're weakening your body's ability to fight infections, inflammation, and even degenerative diseases. Cloves, by improving digestion, help your entire immune system function more smoothly. They reduce gut inflammation, soothe irritated tissues, and encourage the growth of protective gut flora. In traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, cloves were always seen as warming and harmonizing for the digestive fire. Modern science is now proving what ancient wisdom long believed. Long-term tip: the clove and fennel ritual. I often recommend this gentle ritual to my older patients. After dinner, brew a small cup of tea with 1 clove, 1/2 teaspoon fennel seeds, and a slice of fresh ginger. Sip slowly, breathe deeply. This not only improves digestion, but also relieves stress, supports detoxification, and enhances nutrient absorption, all vital for aging well. Conclusion: 1 tiny spice, many digestive miracles. I've spent over 30 years studying the human body, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: healing rarely comes in loud, dramatic ways. It comes in whispers, in the small habits, in the quiet decisions we make daily. Cloves are one of those whispers. They may not be the star of a prescription bottle or headline news, but they hold deep, ancient power, the power to soothe, to strengthen, and to restore. Whether you're a senior looking to improve your digestion, or simply want to feel more comfortable after a meal, don't underestimate this tiny brown bud. Sometimes, the smallest things leave the biggest impressions. So tonight, after your dinner, try it. Brew that tea, chew that clove. You may be surprised by how good your gut, and your whole body, feels. Part 2. Cloves and oral health, natural healing for your mouth. A doctor's true story about an ancient remedy still powerful today. Introduction. The forgotten remedy in your kitchen cabinet. I still remember the day one of my elderly patients, Mrs. Thompson, shuffled into my office, clutching her cheek. She was in her mid-70s, with a gentle smile and a lifetime of stories written across her face. But that day, she wasn't smiling. The pain in her tooth had kept her up for 3 nights straight. She had tried painkillers, saltwater rinses, even garlic. Nothing worked. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Doc, my grandmother used to give me something spicy. I think it was a clove?" I smiled. "Clove?" I said. "That just might be the missing piece." What followed next was a journey that transformed not just her oral health, but changed how I approach treating dental discomfort in my older patients ever since. Let me take you on that journey. Section 1. The ancient power behind a tiny spice. Cloves aren't new. In fact, they've been used for over 2,000 years in Chinese medicine, Indian Ayurveda, and even by Arab traders who knew that this tiny dried flower bud carried astonishing healing power. But in our modern age of pills and procedures, we've nearly forgotten it. At the heart of cloves' medicinal power lies eugenol, a potent natural compound that acts as an antiseptic. It kills harmful bacteria in the mouth. An analgesic, it relieves pain, particularly from toothaches and inflammation. An anti-inflammatory, it soothes swollen gums and irritated oral tissues. Most over-the-counter tooth pain gels today still use synthetic versions of eugenol. Yet the natural version in cloves remains one of the most effective remedies, and safest when used properly. When I tell my patients this, they're often surprised. How could something so simple be that powerful? But the truth is, nature often gets it right before we try to replicate it in a lab. Section 2. A real story, pain relief in a pinch. Let's go back to Mrs. Thompson. That day, instead of prescribing another synthetic painkiller, I gave her a simple plan. Take one whole dried clove. Gently press it between the aching tooth and gum. Hold it in place for 15 to 20 minutes. Repeat up to 3 times per day. 3 days later, she was back, smiling this time. "Doctor," she said, "I haven't slept that well in weeks. It really worked." She went on to tell me how the clove had not only relieved her pain, but also reduced the swelling and made her breath fresher. She was thrilled, and honestly, so was I, because it reminded me that good medicine doesn't always have to come in a bottle. Section 3. How cloves help common oral issues in seniors. Oral health becomes increasingly important and challenging as we age. Here's where cloves shine. 1. Toothache relief. Tooth pain in older adults often stems from gum recession, exposed roots, or sensitivity. Cloves eugenol dulls pain naturally and quickly. Small diamond case example. Mr. Huang, 82, couldn't chew on the left side due to shooting pain from an exposed root. After 3 days of applying clove oil diluted with olive oil, the pain reduced drastically, without medication. 2. Gum inflammation and bleeding. Aging gums are prone to inflammation, especially with dry mouth or poor-fitting dentures. Cloves' anti-inflammatory properties reduce swelling and stop minor bleeding. Small diamond, try this at home. Mix 1 drop of clove oil with a teaspoon of coconut oil. Massage gently on the gums once daily. 3. Bad breath, halitosis. Bacteria that accumulate in the mouth can produce foul-smelling compounds. Cloves' antibacterial properties kill the microbes and leave the mouth fresh. Small diamond quick tip. Boil 2 to 3 cloves in a cup of water. Let it cool, and use it as a mouth rinse. Section 4. Why it works better than many store-bought solutions. Let's compare. Problem. Over-the-counter product. Clove-based remedy. Toothache. Benzocaine gel. Whole clove or clove oil. Bad breath. Mint sprays, mouthwash. Clove tea or rinse. Gum bleeding. Chlorhexidine rinse, can stain teeth. Clove coconut oil massage. Cloves offer a chemical-free, low-cost, and natural alternative, especially helpful for seniors on multiple medications, where drug interactions can be a concern. Section 5. Gentle warnings and safe use. While cloves are potent, they must be used wisely, especially in older adults. Checkmark do. Use whole cloves or diluted clove oil. Never directly apply pure clove oil. It can burn tissue. Test a small area first to check for sensitivity. Use sparingly. 2 to 3 times per day is enough. Cross-mark don't. Swallow large amounts of clove oil. It can be toxic. Use clove oil if you are on blood thinners without doctor approval. It may affect clotting. If you have dentures or open sores in your mouth, always consult your dentist first. Section 6. Simple ways to add cloves into daily life. Even if you're not dealing with dental pain, cloves can still work wonders as part of your daily routine. Hot beverage clove tea. Boil 3 to 5 cloves in 1 cup of water for 5 minutes. Sip slowly after meals to freshen breath and aid digestion. Toothbrush tooth powder. Mix clove powder with a bit of baking soda and coconut oil for a homemade natural toothpaste. Herb aromatherapy. Diffuse clove oil at home. It may help ease sinus discomfort and even repel germs in the air. Many seniors find these routines not only beneficial, but also comforting, like bringing a little bit of nature's pharmacy into their homes. Conclusion. Rediscovering the wisdom of our grandparents. Mrs. Thompson wasn't the only one helped by cloves. Over the years, I've recommended it to dozens of patients, many of whom were surprised by its effectiveness. Some even said it reminded them of remedies their mothers or grandmothers used. And maybe that's the greatest gift cloves give us, not just healing, but a connection to the past, to a time when we looked to the kitchen for medicine, and to nature for comfort. So next time your mouth feels sore, your gums ache, or your breath needs freshening, don't just reach for the pharmacy. Reach for a clove. Sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest power. Part 3. Cloves and heart health, a natural ally for your aging heart. A doctor's reflection on how one humble spice can quietly protect your most vital organ. Introduction. A whisper from the heart. You know, I've spent over 3 decades listening to the rhythm of the human heart, literally. Through stethoscopes, blood tests, ultrasounds, but sometimes, it's not just the beating that tells you what's going on, it's the stories. I remember one patient in particular, Mr. Alvarez, 78 years old, a retired teacher. He came to me not with chest pain, but with a question. Doctor, is it true that spices can help the heart? My wife says chewing cloves is good for blood pressure. He chuckled, brushing it off like it was a silly idea. But I didn't laugh. Instead, I leaned forward and said, she might be onto something. What followed was a journey that changed his perspective, and might just change yours. Section 1. Why the aging heart needs natural support. Aging changes the heart. It's a fact we all must accept. Arteries get stiffer, blood pressure creeps up, and cholesterol becomes harder to manage. For seniors, these changes can lead to high blood pressure, hypertension, atherosclerosis, plaque buildup, poor circulation, increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. Medication helps, of course. But what if nature gave us something to complement these treatments? Not to replace them, but to work alongside them, gently, steadily, every day? That's where cloves come in. Section 2. The heart protective compounds in cloves. Cloves are rich in powerful plant compounds. But the real star here is eugenol. Yes, the same compound that helps with tooth pain is also a friend to the heart. Let's break it down. Small diamond 1. Antioxidant power. Cloves have one of the highest antioxidant scores of any spice. Antioxidants neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that damage blood vessels and speed up aging in the arteries. Eugenol acts as a shield, protecting the heart from oxidative stress. Small diamond 2. Anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic inflammation is a hidden threat to cardiovascular health. Cloves reduce this inflammation, which can ease the pressure on blood vessels and lower the risk of clots. Small diamond 3. Blood pressure balance. Some studies suggest that clove extract can mildly lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure, especially when part of a healthy lifestyle. It does this by relaxing blood vessels and improving circulation. Small diamond 4. Cholesterol management. Animal studies have shown that cloves can help reduce LDL, bad cholesterol, while supporting HDL, good cholesterol. This could help slow down plaque buildup in arteries. Now, let me be clear. Cloves aren't a miracle drug, but as a supportive ally, they're impressive. Section 3. A true story, the case of Mr. Alvarez. When I told Mr. Alvarez about the cardiovascular benefits of cloves, he nodded, but he was still skeptical. So we agreed on a small experiment. He would add clove tea to his daily routine for 8 weeks. No other changes, just that. His daily ritual was simple. Boil 3 whole cloves in 1 cup of water. Let it steep for 10 minutes. Sip slowly in the morning, like a mindful meditation. After 2 months, we reviewed his numbers. Blood pressure, down from 142/88 to 132/80. LDL cholesterol, slightly reduced. Circulation, improved, his cold feet were no longer a daily complaint. But more importantly, he felt better. He slept more deeply. He walked farther without fatigue. And perhaps best of all, he said, "I feel like I'm doing something good for my body every morning." That's the real magic, not just the physical changes, but the sense of empowerment that comes with a simple, natural habit. Section 4. Practical ways to use cloves for heart health. Here's how I now recommend seniors integrate cloves into their daily lives. Hot beverage clove tea for circulation. Boil 3 to 5 cloves in 1 cup water. Steep for 10 minutes. Drink once or twice daily. This warm tea not only supports the heart but also aids digestion and freshens breath, a bonus trio for older adults. Bowl with spoon clove infused oatmeal or smoothies. Grind 1 to 2 cloves into powder. Add a pinch to oatmeal, smoothies, or yogurt. Pairs well with cinnamon and turmeric for extra heart support. Stew cooking with cloves. Add whole cloves to soups or stews. Use clove powder in marinades for meats or roasted vegetables. Just 2 to 3 cloves can flavor an entire pot and protect your heart at the same time. Section 5. When to be cautious, especially for seniors. While cloves are generally safe, moderation is key, especially for those over 65. Checkmark best practices. Use whole cloves or diluted oil only. Stick to small daily amounts. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon clove powder per day is plenty. Check with your doctor if you are on blood thinners, as eugenol may increase bleeding risk. If you're on medications like warfarin, aspirin, or have clotting disorders, always consult a healthcare provider before making it a daily habit. Section 6. Clove tea as a morning ritual, a new heart-healthy habit. You'd be amazed at how many of my older patients now start their mornings with clove tea. Some drink it alone, others blend it with cinnamon, ginger, or lemon for extra flavor and benefit. For many, it's no longer just about health. It's about routine, a sacred time of day when they sit quietly, breathe deeply, and sip something good for the body and soul. It reminds me I'm still taking care of myself. One patient told me, even if I move a little slower now. That's the beauty of cloves. They don't just heal, they help you feel whole again. Conclusion. Small spice, big heart. When I think of the heart, I don't just think of arteries and muscle. I think of stories, of resilience, of tiny choices that lead to lifelong changes. Cloves are just that, tiny. But their impact can be profound. I've seen it in the numbers. I've heard it in my patients' voices. I've tasted it in the tea we share across generations. So if your heart's been asking for help, not just physically, but spiritually, consider reaching for this ancient, powerful spice. Let it become your ally. And just maybe, like Mr. Alvarez, you'll find that your heart doesn't just beat stronger. It feels stronger. Final thoughts. From my heart to yours. After walking you through the incredible world of cloves, from digestion to heart health and beyond, I want to say this plainly. As a doctor who's spent decades listening to patients, researching remedies, and chasing answers both in modern medicine and traditional wisdom, I truly believe this tiny spice holds big potential, especially for seniors. No, cloves aren't a miracle cure, but they're a powerful companion, one that's been quietly waiting on our kitchen shelves, offering comfort, strength, and support in ways many of us have forgotten. So now I'd love to hear from you. Right finger, have you ever tried chewing cloves or drinking clove tea? Right finger, have you noticed any benefits to your digestion, circulation, or overall health? Right finger, or maybe you're just curious. Either way, share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your stories help others more than you realize. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something new, or if it sparked a little curiosity in your daily wellness routine, please hit that subscribe button and join our growing community here on Senior Superfoods TV. Together, we're building a space where aging isn't feared, it's empowered. Through the right foods, natural remedies, and a whole lot of heart. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and don't underestimate the power of the small things. Sometimes, it's the tiniest spice that makes the biggest difference.